Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Pink Table Talk. How are y'all doing today? I am Loria Reed, your host, and I am so excited about our show today. How are y'all doing? You know the routine. You know I'm going to ask you to like and share this and let your friends know that we're talking about goal setting. Our topic, look, let me tell you the topic for real. It's my vision board isn't working. How many of you all can identify with that already? My vision board isn't working. Ways to accomplish your goals in 2022. And I know we've got some great things that we want to do, some big things. You know, we always talk about big things popping. So let's make sure that we stay on task and get those things done. So today we've got two of our women of hope who are here today, who are ready to talk about goal setting, and I think that these two are perfect for it. We'll start with, and both of you guys got on pink, like shades of pink today. So this is cute. So, and both of you guys have your hair natural looking, which is really cute as well. So I'll start with Jeanette Darden. She is one of our new online members from North Carolina. Enjoy her, love her so much. She's in our Life University group. I've gotten to know her, just an awesome person inside and out. So hello, Jeanette. Thank you for being with us today.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so glad to have you. And of course, the Queen Mother over here, she didn't show us all up today, y'all, with this shirt. It's so cute. I love it. Miss Natalie Washington, she's been on before, but she is always so knowledgeable, has so much information and wisdom to give, even at a younger age. She's not young, but she ain't old either. She's right there, right there in the middle. We're so glad to have her today. So hello, Miss Natalie.
Hello, hello. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And I'm just, we're just gonna have a little girlfriend chat about this because I have been a vision board person and I do them, but I don't do them. And I'll tell you why, because sometimes I don't know if it's disappointment happens and you have all these big goals, and then some things are out of your control that you can't get done. You just can't do them. So my first question, and I know we talk about vision goals a lot, vision boards a lot, but how do you determine what is a goal versus what is a dream for you guys? So it's kind of like, is this realistic or is this something I just want for myself? Or what do you determine? How do you determine what goes on the board? That's my question. So I'll start with Natalie's. How do you determine that?
Yeah, so I think a goal has clear action steps that you can take to reach it.
Yeah.
I feel like a dream, there's some other things you may need the Holy Spirit to intervene. You may need some significant financial capital or the infusion of some skills and talents you don't yet have. But a goal is something that you can put down that's concrete, and you can spell out, if I do A, B, and C, I can get to that
Yeah.
particular goal.
That makes sense. What about you, Jeanette? How do you determine what goes on the board? Let's talk about that.
I agree with Natalie's. They have to be measurable. And one thing, if I put it on the board, it's going to be something that I have to give a deadline to.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to make outlines. That's just my personality, like Roman number one, like checkoffs within that. So that
Yeah.
lets me know that that's a goal versus a dream.
Yeah, yeah. That makes a lot of sense though too, because I think, with vision boards, I remember when it became extremely popular, it was like people were putting Bentleys on their board and I want to live in this huge house, but it's like, okay, so are we doing steps to get there? And I think too, we have to have long-term goals as well as short-term goals so that you don't feel the disappointment. So let's talk really quickly about the disappointment of not reaching your goals, because some people have probably put it down because 2021, y'all know the past 2 years has been like just throw the whole year away in a sense for some of us, not everybody, but for some people. So how do you deal with the disappointment of not being able to reach your goal? You didn't get the promotion or things that you've been working for didn't work out. So how do you guys bounce back from that? Jeanette, you can start off with that one.
Um, my first thought was that with of things that hadn't happened that I had on my board or things that just took a long time, I asked myself, is it God's will? at that time. If it doesn't happen, is it his will, or is it going to happen? It's just not right now. So it just gets to a point that you just have to get to a place where you're just like, okay, it's tough getting there, but the bigger question is, was it really his will? So then that's how, at this point in my life, I get through it. I was like, okay, that's not his will, and I want what he wants.
Now that's a good point. That's awesome. Because I think that sometimes we're kind of into ourselves when we make the board. It was like, Lord, just bless all of this. Thank you. And let me put this down here. I can speak it into existence and we'll make it happen, instead of asking God, is this what you want? Or is this the timing for it? So that's very good. What about you, Natalie?
I just think sometimes we're so rigid, and we have to recognize that we need to be flexible with a lot of different time frames, because there's so many different variables and factors that can impact our goal setting and the steps to achieve the goals. And so if the disappointment does not serve you and it is not going to help you get to the goal, it doesn't facilitate the goal in any way, I feel like you just have to shake that off, brush it off, and keep moving forward, recalibrate, look at how you can set that goal up for the next time period, the next quarter, the next year, and then get at it. It's really about recalibrating and trying again. And it really depends on the kind of goal. If it's a financial goal, if it's a professional goal, like travel goals, that all the travel that got canceled in 2020, you just wait until it's safe to travel again. But by financial goals, maybe you regroup your plan. You look at where all your discretionary income was going and you try to figure that out. Or you didn't pass that test or the exam, you like, how can I change my study goals? So there's a lot of disappointment in depending on the kind of goal that you're setting. But I think one of the main foundational points is you've got to be flexible, and you can't let the disappointment weigh you down such that you get stagnant.
That's true. Because I think, like the Bible says, hope deferred makes the heart sick. And so you just always, okay, well, maybe this year, and maybe this year.
How has the pandemic been a blessing to your ministry?
It's been a blessing. And I know that my humor has helped with just keeping me not focusing so much on that part and falling into the fearful side of what I'm finna do. And even the Bible says, be anxious for nothing. We're not supposed to. All these things that we sing about, we're supposed to put them into practice. If you trusted in God, you're supposed to demonstrate and display that. You don't supposed to be pull all my braids out. That's not the will of the Lord. So, and then it's not cute after the stressing and all that died down. I just got patches of whatever.
Right.
That's not the Lord's will. Nobody want to see that virtually.
Yeah, that's funny to me.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Today, we are talking about caregiving while Black. Specifically, we're talking about dementia today.
For those that are Black in the U.S., and we know this, especially during the pandemic, a lot of inequities we experience. And the pandemic has heightened that and has highlighted that. And I thought, working with Dr. Bennett and other members of her team, we thought it was very important to really let's address that, right? Let's take into account those unique experiences of being Black, living in America, and caring for someone living with dementia.
How do you accomplish goals? I know we all what are your steps? I know we say, you need to get your goals done, but how do you do that from you all standpoint? That's the question that I want to ask. So I'm start with Jeanette. How do you accomplish the goals that you set before you?
Well, two things that I thought about is I do some research in order to accomplish them, because in achieving a goal, you may not necessarily know everything or know everything about every step of the goal. So I think one thing is being able to research and then ask knowledgeable others. So there's always someone that knows more that you can just go, hey, may I ask you this? Can you tell me what to do next, or how do you accomplish? So those were my two big ones there. Again, research and then ask knowledgeable others.
That makes
I
sense.
like those. Those are good.
I like those too. Those are good. What about you, Natalie?
Well, I start by writing it down, because if I didn't write it down, it doesn't exist for me. I'm not held accountable to it. Like even during this fasting period with the church, like I wrote down what in fact are you fasting from, Natalie? Because you will not do it if you didn't write it down. Like I look back at my phone, was this on the list? So I have to write it down, and I also establish who my accountability partners are. I really try to identify somebody, and it's different people for different goals, because I have my fitness, nutrition people who are going to be on me about meal prepping and how my workouts are going. But then, financial goals, I have, I play in the stock market and with investments. And so I have my people who I talk to about that. I have different accountability partners for different types of goals. And what else? Oh, this is my big one. She had her big too. This is my big one. I set myself up for success in all of these things. So it may be researching and gathering information. It may be like, if I'm trying to be healthy, I'm going to have a plan to go to the farmer's market on the weekends. If I say I'm going to drink a gallon of water, I'm going to go buy the big jug. I set myself up. Like if I say I'm not going to date no more not good people, then I'm going to getting those phone calls. I'm saving them in the phone as do not answer. Like I set myself up to be successful. Like I look at the things that are barriers or distractions, and I try to eliminate those things. So, the things that are going to take you off your game, take you away from your goal. Like when I'm trying to save money, I unsubscribe from everybody who's sending me an email. Don't tell me about your sale. I don't want to know, because that's going to impact my decision making. So.
Wow. She goes hard in the paint, y'all. And that's good though, because if you have a goal, I think that's the biggest thing with most of us is we have goals, but we don't put in the work to get to them. And I don't think that we realize how much effort it takes each day to do that. And you just have to start small with one thing and just keep going and working at it every day and being consistent, because sometimes we'll start out great. Beginning of the year, it's like, okay. And then about April, we're like, okay, and then the next thing you know, we're right back to where we were starting in 2023. So we don't want that to happen. But yeah, I believe that's so true. Anybody, you have anything to say about that as well, Jeanette? Anything to add to that?
Well, she touched on a lot of other things I was thinking too. One thing I do, I keep a 5-year plan, and then sometimes when I'm ready to start something new, I revisit that 5-year plan, and that becomes a start for that month or for that year, because some goals just take longer than others. And then I go and I mark off of my 5-year plan. So that my 5-year plan kind of keeps me focused on some of them too, because some goals are just going to take long.
Yeah. So what's the goal that you? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I like that, revisiting your established goals, looking at where you're at, doing a check-in. Like we do it at work. It's like a performance assessment, an evaluation. Like we seeing where we're at. We have to do that in our personal lives too. So I love that.
That's so true. But I was going to ask, what is one goal that you each have for 2022? What's something that you're working on now that you would like to share with us? I caught them off guard because they didn't know about that question. What's one goal that you got for yourself? Either one of you guys.
One of mine is that I wrote, and it's just been one that's on the list. But again, it'll just move here, and I'm just believing God for it, is to become debt free. And even if it doesn't happen completely, just to take steps, the more steps to get there, and then ask the Lord, ask the Holy Spirit, like, what do I need to do to, to change my bottom number? You know what I'm saying? Like, just to get where I need to get. And so that's a big one. And I'm just believing for something supernatural. It's been on my list for a while. I believe it's His will, though. Even though that's one that hasn't
Right.
happened, I still believe it's His will.
Most definitely. Most definitely. What about you, Natalie?
I'm a big reader, and so one of my goals this year is to really increase the number of nonfiction books that I read. I read fiction all the time. I read novels like they're candy. I just put them away. But nonfiction, it's harder for me to really get into. And so Viola Davis's book comes out in April, so she'll be my first one. It's a memoir, her life, and so I'm excited about that. But I'm trying to really incorporate, and even away from memoirs, I'm trying to get into more informational learning books about finance, books about history. So yeah, that's one of my goals, just making sure that I incorporate that into my routine.
Well, those are good. Those are good goals, and those are practical, goals that you can chomp down each time and, and kind of get there.
All right, guys, we got to make some cheesy bread.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry. I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
The way in which Black preaching historically and even up into present age allows us to really be creative and stretch the conversation. What is God saying about this, not just historically or biblically, but what is God saying now? But the way I approach preaching is not just the call and response aspect of the dialogue, but I'm working through this issue theologically. Let's work through it together. I'm not coming to you with answers. This is what I'm struggling with, what I'm thinking about, what I sense the Lord doing. And in this conversation, let's see if you sense God doing the same thing or if you agree with me.
So what advice would you give to someone who is really trying to hone in this year? They're trying to get themselves together. They're like, you know what? I've got to do better, but I really need to figure out how to get this thing done. What is just something that you would encourage them to do?
One thing I think too is to make an appointment with yourself, because we get caught up, and I know Natalie said in one point about distractions. We allow things to distract us. So I think just sitting down and this is what I'm going to do at this time. And sometimes when the distractions come, you know where they are. You're just going to have to take a stance and just go, I'm not getting ready to let this do. I'm not going to watch this on TV. I'm not going to binge watch this. I'm going to take a time and do whatever it needs to do to be done in reference to my goals. Like, even if it's just writing them down or sitting there, what steps I'm going to take next. So that would be my advice.
That's awesome. Love that.
And I would say to anyone, stop procrastinating and start. We get so caught up in deciding how we're going to do it. If you're going to write a book, a lot of people want to write books nowadays. If you want to go to the gym, if you want to eat healthy, if you want to save money, if you want to go back to school, do the first step. Go. Like, I've been talking to some people about things they want to do. Stop wanting to do it. You want to go to a crazy, amazing trip, get a travel agent and start making payments. I'm about getting it done, and you have to take that first step. And sometimes it's a faith step. I acknowledge that. It's not easy, but like sometimes maybe the strength comes once you start walking. Like maybe
That's right.
Maybe it'll just happen once God sees, oh, she moving, she ready. So I just say go.
Most definitely.
Just to add, like, don't let comfort become my distraction. Because we're comfortable. So we just need to, like she said, go. Because comfort can be a distraction.
Yes, ma'am.
All the way. Because it takes, like we were talking about, it takes work to change. And really, when you're trying to either change your life by what Annalise was talking about with eating right and drinking the water and all those things, or even with being, what you were talking about with being debt free, or whatever the goal is, it requires change and it requires consistency. And it's tough. And nobody talks about that because we made goal setting so cute and so sweet looking, like, oh, I want that. And it's kind of like looking at magazines when we were children, like, oh, I want that car. I'm going to get that car one day. Or I'm going to get this. And it's cool to have that. But at the same time, we've got to be realistic with where we are and see that we can get those things with the goal setting. You all agree?
Yes, absolutely.
It's a mess. But anyway, so anybody got anything else to add to this conversation? Because I think I've asked all of the questions that I wanted to ask y'all.
You really just have to position yourself to be successful in your goals. And I really think that a lot of times we get so caught up in making sure everything is exactly right before we take the next step. And it's just never going to be, the optimal, backdrop is never there. So if we can accept that and be flexible and just move forward, I think so much can be accomplished. I feel like there's so many people right now sitting on dreams, sitting on their goals, not just their dreams, sitting on, reachable goals because they're waiting for the perfect time. Well, let me wait till the kids get out of 5th grade. Let me wait till I pay this down. Let me wait. And, sometimes we just have to move. And I'm just an advocate for trying. Like if it's in your heart and you keep thinking about it, maybe the Spirit's putting it on your heart. Pray, of course, and ask for direction and go. The steps of a good man are ordered by God. So, if you in the right and you moving forward, God will go with you the rest of the way. And I love to encourage people to do that because I just think it's so important. So many people are just sitting because of so much fear. And, we've all been afraid of getting started, moving forward, the fear of rejection, the fear of failure. Those are real, and I'm not going to dismiss them. But sometimes we've got to, overcome that with our action, right?
That's right. Did you want to say anything, Jeanette? I'm sorry.
No, I'm good.
Okay. But you're right, though, because I think, too, sometimes we overthink things and we make things so hard before we even get started. But the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. And if we just push ourselves on out there, we'll be able to get it done. So that's all we had today. But I mean, it didn't have to be long to be strong. We came on in here and did what we had to do today. And I think that this was a great powwow about goal setting. So y'all get your vision boards done. If you haven't, you can start a vision board in the middle of the year. It doesn't matter when you do it. It's just all about making sure that you're lining up with God. The season is right, because sometimes you may have something on there and it's like, this just ain't the right time yet for this, but you can still keep it up there. Like Jeanette was talking about with the 5-year plan. So let's just make sure that we have our goals ready to go and we stay on track. Y'all agree?
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming on. We got Jeanette Darden, Natalie Washington. I enjoy them so much, and I think they have so much to offer. And you see how they always about business. You can just tell they got it going. They got it together and got it going on. And I'm so excited to know you guys. I really am. So thank you all for tuning in to the Pink Table Talk. We've got more great shows right here on Hope TV. So we'll see you the next time. Thank y'all for watching.
This is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like it's takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes, and you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it.